Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Megan,
And I'm Michaela.
and it's time to
And
panic
it's
at the
time to panic at the
podcast.
podcast. So,
Oh,
so how's your week been, Megan?
it's good. If you guys have listened I feel like I've talked about the last couple episodes. My flights for Alaska have been messed up every single time. I had to cancel my flights, all of my flights initially, and then I got here, wasn't sure when I'd be flying out. Ended up booking a flight, and now because of various reasons, I had to cancel it and then book another one.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so it's just been one of those trips that's like, this is a mess,
Wait,
you know?
so
So
it's changed since the last time you and I have talked?
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. It changed a couple days ago.
Wow.
So I still fly home on the same day, but there's just a couple reasons that it wasn't going to work with that flight that I had. So we ended up actually being able to get a credit and then using that credit to buy a new ticket, and it only cost like $15 more. So that part was fine. It was just very stressful. So
Hmm.
just what the heck, you know?
That's
So
annoying. At least you got to
um
like fly out on the same day.
yeah, yeah. And then this is my last week now in Alaska. So it's kind of like bittersweet. You
I
know, it's
can
I'm
say
excited to go
yay,
home.
but then like also not yay.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be sad to leave my family, but it'll be good to go home.
Yeah.
So just trying to deal with that.
Because you've been
But
there for I feel like you've been there for forever.
I've been here for just over a month now.
That's so crazy.
Um, yeah, it ended up being like a 5 week trip. It was supposed to be just over 3 weeks initially,
A little longer.
and now it's five. So yeah.
A little bit.
How about you? How's your week?
Oh man, my week has been insanity. As I think I've said before, I just started school again online, and I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I switched schools recently. So I'm at a new school under a new program, and man,
Yay.
yeah, it's really exciting. Um, but I also work full time, and I just also switched jobs. So I've been juggling new job, new school. Um, Not to mention the
That's a lot.
it's been a lot. The new school too, the like way that it's set up, the semesters are broken into A/B sessions. So you take accelerated classes. So like I'm taking two classes at the current moment, but they're only 7 weeks long. So the workload for each class is like ridiculous. um, so just trying to figure out how to balance work and school and my own life.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, this week my body decided, let's get sick. That's going to be a great time. So it's been one of
Of
those
course.
weeks. Yeah.
Oh
but,
man, that's a
but I
lot.
made it through and I got all my homework turned in on time, just barely, but still.
Good.
So yeah, going into the new week, hopefully going into work in real life. We've been doing like online training because of COVID, of course. But we'll see. I got a 3-day weekend, which is always nice. So
Yay. That's exciting.
yeah, it was nice to have that break after like having such a hectic week. I literally like vegged out yesterday, didn't do a single thing. Um,
Yeah. That's good. That sounds like you needed it.
I did. I think my body was like trying to tell me I needed to take a break. Um, and like
Yeah.
forced me to. So yesterday I
Hmm.
literally slept and watched YouTube all day. So
Good.
yeah. So excuse me. If you hear me coughing, I am still sick. I'm gonna try not to cough in your ears. Um, that's not cute, but
No, it's not, but I think it's understandable,
yeah.
So,
So
all
anyway,
right. Are you ready for this week?
yeah, let's go
For
for it.
social media again?
Yeah, so last week, I think we're gonna post these probably back to back, but the last
I
time we
think so.
recorded, we talked about social media and kind of just like the negative effects that it's had on us that we've noticed, and just like the different aspects of that. Um, and this week, we kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit more because I feel like we touched on a lot, but we didn't touch on everything that we wanted to go over.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that there's so much. This is such a broad area um, of things to have to touch on, that I feel like it's really like a multiple. I mean, we talk about this all the time. So there's always
Yeah.
something new to talk about with it. So,
Yeah, and just yesterday, funnily enough, we were planning to probably talk about this today anyway. But just yesterday, one of our friends reached out and had been listening to the podcast about which one was it? It wasn't even about social media.
no, it was our last one that we posted.
Influence.
The influence
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
And we started talking about social media based off of that with one of our friends, and it's just interesting how the conversation naturally evolved into what we've been discussing in our pre-recording and amongst one another, which is social media needing to take like a break from it, um,
Hmm.
which ultimately is kind of something that we've been playing around with the idea of getting off of social media. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's something that I have done quite a few times. I never like delete my accounts. Um, but I will like delete the apps off my phone and then I just don't get on it. And that really helps just not having that like access to it 24/7. I don't carry my laptop around, and the mobile website version of all of those websites are horrible. So and it's something that I always am like I just feel so free when I do it. It takes me a couple days and I feel very weird for a few days. And we talked about this a little bit, like initially, and I think a little bit last night. But it's weird to not have something to do anytime your brain is free,
yeah, yeah,
or to be distracting you from the things you need to do. So
yeah, because
currently in that
you
stage.
right. I don't know if we mentioned it, but we
Hmm.
did decide yesterday with one of our other friends to go ahead and do a social media break. Um, but before
I
we
don't know
talk
if you
about,
actually did mention it now.
I don't think we did, but I knew where you were going with it, so I'm filling in the
Yeah,
blanks for
yeah.
you.
I
Um,
felt like you talked about it but didn't actually say it?
I didn't mention it, yeah. So
Yeah.
I just expect you guys to be in my brain and know what I'm thinking. So I mean, that's your
Yes.
problem.
Yeah, come on. Come on. Be mind readers through the podcast. All right.
Yeah, get on it. Come on, chop chop. No,
Uh,
but before we go into that and that discussion and our current journey with that, um, you've done a social media break before a few times,
mhm.
haven't you?
Yeah, I go off, I would say a couple times a year for like a week or two, or I will just delete like one social media. I don't I get rid of Twitter. I mean, I don't have Twitter more often than I do have Twitter. I haven't had Facebook on my phone. I'd say it's been like a solid like 2 years. Like I'll download it for like a day if I need to do something because I sometimes I have to have it for work, but I just I just don't use it. There aren't a lot of people on there that I genuinely care about their lives. Like that might sound really crappy, but it's honestly how I feel. It's kind of like the people from like high school and things that like it's like okay, I wonder how they're doing,
It's not
but I
people
don't
that
care
you
to see.
actually have in your everyday life.
Yeah, and then I don't care to have in my everyday life, and some family that's like distant family who I don't know that well. That's just kind of like I don't really care that your kid stubbed their toe yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, but and so it's just easier for me to instead of just scroll mindlessly. It's always just been easier just to not have it because it's like if they want to reach out, I still have the Messenger app on my phone. That's how I talk to my grandparents, a lot of friends.
Used to be how we talked.
So Yeah. Well, we talk on every single. We have WhatsApp, we've got Messenger, we've got Instagram, we've got Snapchat, we've
Snapchat,
got texting. We text,
TikTok,
like actually physically text each other the least often.
which is so
We
funny.
use every other messaging platform
Okay,
possible.
so it's really interesting that you mentioned that because I've actually noticed lately how little I actually text people. Like
Mm-hmm.
texting is becoming like the least used way in for me in my life to talk to people. Like I use Snapchat so much lately. I use WhatsApp. I use
Mm-hmm.
Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even Instagram. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally texting someone and having their phone number has become like pointless.
Yeah, totally. And that's so weird.
Yeah, because I mean, I can call people on Snapchat. I can call them on not Instagram. I
Mm-hmm.
can call them on Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. You
Mm-hmm.
can video chat
Yeah.
with them on those places. You can send voice notes. Like I don't really text people anymore. So go like I don't know. It's just very interesting how social media has kind of almost taken the place of a phone as far as texting and calling.
Yeah, I think it has in a lot of areas, which is really, it's pretty interesting to see that.
Yeah, but back to your like breaks or whatever. What
Mm-hmm.
was the first time? Because I know that you like you've done this a few times, but what was the reason or like the first time that you decided, hey, I'm gonna delete all this stuff? When was that? And like, what was the reason?
I I honestly could not tell you the first time. Oh, it's been years. Um, I would say since my, I would say even since my late teens.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't say my late teens because I didn't have a smartphone in my late teens. I would say that I would not get on them, but I wouldn't. So it'd be like a fast versus like just deleting all the apps. I would say it's always been for mental health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every all of them, I would say, except for Twitter. I just delete Twitter because I think Twitter's stupid. But
But you
all of the
also
rest
love
of
Twitter,
them,
so it's hilarious to me.
I have like a love-hate relationship. I never post like that is the social media that's the hardest for me to understand, like and get and like genuinely care about. It's like Twitter is like the fling, it's like, yeah, it's there in case I like get bored on every other app. And I think part of that is because all I follow are like a whole bunch of writers. And I also am a writer, but I have a really hard time caring. And that makes me a horrible person. And I hope that none of my Twitter followers come over here because there's some that I genuinely care about, but not most of them. So I think maybe if I were to go through and get rid of a lot of people that I follow, I would probably like it a lot more. But
Yeah, I
um,
had to go through and unfollow a lot of people.
yeah.
It was just so much drama, and it's like I
Mhm.
genuinely don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want drama in my personal life. Why do I want to read about celebrity drama or YouTuber drama or
Yeah.
whatever on my Twitter feed? Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Don't. I used to care. I used to get all wrapped up in all of the drama that happened. And I think on every platform
Mm-hmm.
with friends and celebrities and whoever, it was kind of like anybody that had drama. I was like, oh, I want to know more. And um, I would say in the last year, sometimes I want to hear it, but most of the time I just don't
I
care.
mean, like,
And it's like this doesn't need to be drama. Why are we not having a conversation about this and like handling it?
it's not even that for me at least. It's like I don't mind knowing about it. I just don't want it to be like 24/7. Okay. So the reason I say this is because maybe about a month or two, oh my gosh, I don't even remember when this all happened. Time is just a crazy, weird, confusing thing this year, but whenever everything started happening with like Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, and
Mm,
I don't want to go into details of it on here, but whenever all of the allegations and stuff started coming out about them, I somehow found myself just encapsulated. Encapsulate, is that the word I'm looking for? I was
I don't
obsessed.
think so, but I get what you're going with.
Encapsulated
I
in
get where you're trying to go
drama
with
is
that.
what I was trying to say. But like I literally would listen to drama commentary about it all day long on my way to work, on my breaks. If work was slow and I didn't have anything to do, I was listening to it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
at night, like in the bathtub, literally, I was listening to drama all day long, and like it was interesting and like fun, I guess, for a little while. But then at a certain point, after like literal weeks of this, I was like, what is the point of this? Like I felt so much anxiety and so much like negativity, and I just felt really like down and like ugh, like heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like forced to stop and be like, well, what are you putting into your brain right now? Like, what are you feeding your soul right now?
Mm-hmm.
And it was all of the drama and the negativity and like heavy stuff too. Like, um,
Yeah.
so a constant criticism of people, and it's like, why, literally, why am I doing this? So I had to like
It's
stop getting on YouTube for a while. And even right now, like if I go on my YouTube homepage, like all the recommended, it's all a bunch of drama.
mm-hmm.
Um, really,
Yeah, and that's not healthy
no,
for
so
anybody.
negative.
It's not healthy for the people making the videos. It's not healthy for the people who are in the drama. It's not healthy for the people that are watching it. Like I've always tried to kind of steer clear of drama channels. One, because 9 times out of 10, it's not true. Like they're causing something, starting something. Sometimes they're not, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's 100% accurate. But also, like that's hard. And I'd much rather have like if something is actually happening, hearing it in like a short form. Like one here's a tweet, this is going on, and it's like, okay, cool, that didn't drag me down. But watching a whole like video about it is like, oh
Literal
my gosh, this is
hours.
so draining. Yeah.
Literal hours of my life was consumed with listening to drama commentary, and I was like, "What? When
Yeah.
did I become this person? I hated it." So I stopped, obviously. And I all of
Yeah.
the drama commentary channels that I was following, and like, oh my gosh, it was a lot. And like, actually, before we decided to do the social media break, which we'll get to in a second, um, a video popped up on my recommended, and it caught my attention, and it was a drama thing about all the stuff that I had been watching. And I clicked on it and I started to listen to it. And like the second, like literally like a minute in, I was like, no, I can't do this. And I just literally cannot. I can't. And so I turned it off and like went about my day.
Yeah.
But so negative. It was just a bad situation.
And that's good that you saw that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that you saw that and like drew that line, like no, this isn't gonna be helpful. This isn't gonna be, you know, good for my brain. So we're not gonna entertain it. I think that
Exactly.
that's a really good boundary to set for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I've always so, and you know this, you've been there for me for a lot of times when my mental health has been horrible, and I'm never gonna say like social media was the thing that put me on the edge. That's not true. But it never helps. It never
Mm-hmm.
ever is something that is helpful. Even if you follow like encouraging pages or like pages with Bible verses or whatever, like that's great. But if you follow two of those and then you follow 150 channels that are not posting that stuff, you're going to see one verse and 150 at least other posts of things that maybe are not the best for you. And so it kind of is like, well, that's like eating 12 donuts and then you're like, I'm gonna have a piece of lettuce and thinking you're gonna be fine. you know
Yeah.
that doesn't help you at all.
I like that
And if
like is that a metaphor? I like the way you just said
Yeah. I ate 3 donuts yesterday and I had lettuce on my sandwich and I felt great, so it was a little personal.
that. There's the truth.
It's coming from real life. But it never ever helped me. And I'd get into really, really low places and, times where it's like almost impossible to get off my couch and be sitting there scrolling and the only thing it did was just pull me deeper,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of like getting rid of those was something that helped me tremendously, not necessarily get better, but it helped me not get worse, you
Yeah,
know? And so having to find that, um, and I get really low sometimes. I think we touched on this a little bit last time, was that like sometimes those lows hit and they hit hard, you know? And then coming back out of it is literally trying to like drag yourself out of a hole. But it's a lot easier when you don't have that added, just nasty stuff going straight into your brain that's just not helping you, you know?
for sure.
And that said, I still watch Netflix, and I usually will still watch YouTube, but I don't generally get dragged into drama stuff as much. I usually am watching like Peter McKinnon, who's my favorite. I feel like I've mentioned him all the time on this podcast,
We love
and
Peter.
you know, like tutorials and things like that. So I feel
Yeah.
like he doesn't get caught up in the drama.
No, God.
So,
Can you imagine Peter McKinnon in YouTube drama?
but
That would be like the end of the world.
oh,
Just because I don't think it would
I
happen.
mean,
That's what I'm saying.
I would watch it because it's him. Yeah. I feel like it'd be funny. I feel like he would be like reacting to the drama, being like, "You guys, this is really stupid,"
Yeah, it
you
would
know,
be like
in his Peter
it would
McKinnon
be
way.
like the most sarcastic, like joking kind of beef. Like I don't think it would be real. It would just be like a big troll.
Yeah, yeah. Him and Maddie like getting into a fight. Like, what the heck is
Yeah.
this? Oh my gosh. Um, yeah. So that's. I mean, that's for mental health a little bit on that. I think it's just hard. I think it's really hard that we're literally surrounded by negativity all the time. We've got the news. I feel like music is huge. I feel like movies are huge. You know, there's so much bad going on, and then you pull out your phone and you get on Facebook in your grocery line, you know, or when you're sitting at home and you're bored or whatever. And then beyond mental health, it's making us stupid,
Yeah.
you know? Like it is not helping. And this when we look when we wow, I can't talk.
It's making us stupid.
Obviously, I'm passionate about what I'm about to say. Uh, no, I'm smart again. I deleted it off my phone. That's how it works.
Oh, okay.
Instant. Uh, no, when we worked in Galena, we didn't have cell phone. Well, we had cell phone service. We didn't have data for 3 years, really.
Yeah.
And the data we had didn't work very good. And we had Wi-Fi, but our phones didn't connect to it. And so this might be TMI, but my thing was always like, well, what do you do when you're in the bathroom? You know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're quick, but sometimes you're gonna be in there a little
Yeah.
bit.
What are
So
you
how do you
supposed
feel?
to do?
You just sit there and twiddle your thumbs? Like this is like such unused time. And so what I had done was I downloaded an app on my phone. There was like a monthly subscription where I could read any book that they had on the app. And so I used to always I'd be reading two books. I'd have a book that I was reading anytime, and then I'd have a bathroom book. And that was the book that would take me a while to get through. But I always made sure it was really interesting or informative. And so I felt like that use of time in the bathroom was like
That's so funny.
useful, I guess. Like I was getting something. And I quit it because it was like, well, when I left or when I'd come home for the summers or whatever, it was kind of like, well, but I can be on Facebook. I can be on Instagram. Instagram is my time suck. You know, it's like I can be on Instagram. I could be doing whatever instead of like using that time to do something else better, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think I'm gonna try and do that. I haven't set that up yet, but we haven't even talked about that
No,
yet. So
let's just talk about what we keep not talking about, which is
he who shall not
he
be
who
named.
shall not be named, the Lord Voldemort. No, so we decided yesterday with one of our friends, Maria, who we've talked about on this podcast before. Hey, Maria.
I feel like every episode, hey Maria, and I know Uli's
Yeah.
listening too. So what up?
So they, and not they, it's just one person. Maria is one person.
She is.
She is. So we were all discussing the whole social media thing and how like negative it's become for us and how much time we waste on it. And for instance, I was like, yeah, I think the other day I literally spent 6 hours on my phone. Like at one time. There was a time of 6 hours where I did nothing but scroll on my phone. And that's such a waste of time when I have 1,000 other things that I could have been doing.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we talked about this on the part one, but Go back to us being in Galena. Whenever I first, I'm so sorry if this is a repeat, but whenever I first moved to Galena, I didn't have any internet access at all. Because that was whenever the staff, we didn't all have computers for work, so I didn't have a laptop that connected to internet. I didn't have Wi-Fi. We didn't have cell data like 3G or anything like that. So I didn't have access to social media for a while, for like a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get satellite internet set up to have that access, and that was pretty expensive to get.
And it freaking takes
It
forever.
yeah, it took forever. Um, but all of that to say, I had so much time, like so much extra
Mm-hmm.
time. My room, I think, was always spotless. Like, you can
Yeah.
attest to that, Megan, because I remember one time, I don't know if you remember this, but y'all were coming to hang over at my house, and you were like, your house is always like spotless. I was like, yeah, because I don't have anything else to do. Like, what else am I supposed to do to occupy my
That
time? I'm new here. We live in the village. I don't have internet access. What else is there to do? Like,
That's so weird because I used to have this do the same exact thing when I first moved there. One, I had nothing. I literally bought one suitcase full of stuff and then a suitcase full of food because I had no idea when the next time I could buy food was.
mm-hmm.
And my room was always spotless too, and my phone didn't even work. I had to buy like a brick phone, and so I didn't even want to text people because it was such a pain in the butt to do. And that makes sense partially because I had nothing, but also because I had nothing else to do with my life.
Yeah, there was.
And I had never put two and two together.
Oh, I know, like, recognized it right off the bat because I was like, there's literally nothing else for me to do besides like keep my area nice and like read a
Yeah.
book or like go for a walk or go to the gym. Like, there's or hang out
Mhm.
with people. Like, there's really, as far as like me and my personal time, that's what there is for me to do. Um,
Yeah.
and so, and I was happy. Like, I didn't miss it. I missed it at first because, like, you're in a new
Yeah.
place, you want to keep in touch. But after like the first, probably not even week, to be honest with you, I didn't really care about not having internet
Yeah.
because I felt okay. I felt like I didn't really miss it. I was having a good time without it. Like, I was meeting people and hanging out in person instead. And I think that's partially because of the environment that we were in, but also
Yeah.
I know that if I had social media, I would have spent a lot of hours on the internet because that's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that in that later on for me, I was able to value my time on social media a lot more. Like I would specifically go onto my mom's Facebook or my brother's Instagram or whatever to like actually see how they were doing as opposed to just scrolling through people who I don't know. I'll probably never meet. And like honestly, I hope their life is good, but like it does not matter to me, you know?
Yeah.
And so you lose had that value of like, oh, like I'm actually able to check on my people. I'm curious, you know? And then if I had extra time, it was like, oh, what's new with Shane Dawson, you know, or Jacqueline Hill or whatever, like the people that I followed. But it made it like it was something I looked forward to as opposed to something that I did all the time, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So
So
it's so interesting though, and seeing that and like having that like knowledge to know that I can be super productive when I don't have my phone in my hand. Like, duh, that's hello, duh. Um, we were all talking about that, Megan, Maria, and I, and kind of just decided like, hey, let's do a social media break for like a week,
mhm.
and
Yeah.
we're just not. We're gonna delete it off of our phones. What we can, because I mean, some of us need it for work.
Mhm.
Um,
Me.
me,
I need it for
it's
work.
Megan. It's Megan. um,
But that means I don't have to have my
yeah.
accounts. I
So
simply have to have my work
right.
accounts and then our podcast account. Like I was able to just not have my own personal. I have two personal ones, two personal like Instagram, so it was the only one that was affected. And so I was able to just not have my personal ones logged in on my account, which helped.
Yeah. So we started that last night. No. When did we do that?
No, 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying
But it
last
was like
night this
the
whole time.
evening.
Yeah, that's probably why I'm
Yeah,
thinking
it's
that.
okay.
Like
I wasn't gonna correct you. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They don't know when we're recording this, you know?
we could be lying.
Like, yeah, whatever. We could be on accident.
Like I have been
But
this
no,
whole
it was
time.
Friday.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Like I
it was
said,
Friday that we talked
time
about it.
doesn't make sense this year. Um,
It doesn't.
but
You slept a lot yesterday.
I slept.
So, and I think that doesn't help with you keeping track of when things were.
Yeah, I slept almost all day yesterday. I was knocked out with Mucinex.
Good stuff, you know.
Yes.
When you're feeling sick, that's man. Mucinex has helped me so many times when I've been like out for the count. You know,
Mucinex,
just helped me get sleep and feel better.
Mucinex is the reason that I lost a whole day that one time when we were traveling, and
Yeah.
I drugged myself on accident,
Yeah.
which I feel like I.
Yeah, and you slept through um like 5 people trying to sleep in one bed and a drive-through Taco Bell that
Picking people up at the
was, oh my
airport.
gosh, hilarious. That's driving down the wrong side of the road, fitting way too many people in a little tiny car. Like you missed a lot. It was an eventful like 12
I'm really
hours.
upset that I missed it, but to be fair, I was very sick. This is whenever we were all coming back from is it summer break or was it Christmas? I don't even remember.
Christmas.
Okay, we're all going
Yeah.
back to Alaska for work from Christmas break, and I was really sick. And I was taking Mucinex for the first time. I had never taken Mucinex before. I usually take NyQuil, the capsules. This is a sidebar, obviously. And so basically, what happened was with Dayquil and NyQuil, the night ones are blue and the day ones are yellow. I mean orange. Well, with Mucinex, the ones that I had, the colors were reversed, and I wasn't paying attention, and unknowingly had been taking the nighttime Mucinex the entire time I had been traveling, which at this point had been 2 days, nearly 2 days.
Yeah.
And so whenever we got to the hotel, we were all staying at the same hotel in Fairbanks, right? Was it Fairbanks? Yeah. And I was like, I'm just so tired. Like, they were gonna leave to go pick up one of our other friends, the last friend from the airport, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay back here and like maybe take a nap or something. I'm just exhausted, and then proceeded to sleep through the next I don't know how many hours until we had to leave.
Yeah, you just slept until we had to leave. And it was good that you didn't come because we didn't have room in the car for I don't even remember who the last person we picked up was, but they had 2 totes.
I think it was Hannah.
And I hadn't planned on that. And I rented a little tiny car. I feel like it was Hannah. Because then I ended up carrying her tote through the airport, trying to return my car and all of my stuff. So I feel like it was Hannah. Dang it, Hannah. What the heck are you doing? But so it ended up being good because I don't know where we would have put you, honestly. Like, I mean, I guess it's something. We could have squished Busy. She's tiny. We could have just squished her somewhere, you know. But yeah. She always like packs up little, like really small. So we could have made it work, but it was a mess. Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyways, tangent. I don't even know what we were talking about before the tangent.
All of that to say something. Pay attention to the dosage in your Mucinex.
And how this relates to social media, I have no idea.
We're talking about how I slept all day yesterday.
That's right. Yeah.
But anyway, how is that going for you so far? So we're on what, day 2 of no social media?
Yeah, it's like our second full day. It's weird. I kept just pulling up my Instagram app like absentmindedly, and so I just went and deleted it. I didn't need it for work for a couple of days. But I had to put it back on this morning to do a post. And I keep finding myself like pulling it up again, and then I'm like, I don't know any of these people, and then I'm like, oh, so I guess it's work, you know? And so it's been weird to see like the number of times that I will sit down like on the couch or whatever and be having a conversation and pull up my phone and like look for Instagram. And that's just been weird because it's like how many times do I disconnect from like a conversation that's here
Mm.
to go looking on somebody else's life, and I'm still listening as well as you can,
But you're
but
not being
I
super
don't know,
attentive like
weird.
you probably should be. You know, you know
Exactly.
what's
And
interesting?
I think,
I'm sorry. I'm
huh?
sorry. You go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm interested to see like what it's gonna be like when I go home
Mhm.
because life is chaotic here. When I get home, I spend a very large amount of my time on social media because I don't necessarily have a lot of other things to do. Like I work, but my work doesn't consume my life. When I'm here in Alaska, I literally do not stop running. So I haven't already spent a ton of time on social media being here. It's usually like before I go to bed or when I wake up is when I do it because I really haven't had hardly any days where it's not been completely chaotic. I've been trying to get together with friends and stuff, and I was supposed to see Uli and Maria again, and that just didn't work out because of everything that was going on in my life. And so I'm interested to see what it's going to be like going home where my life is not crazy to see what that's like. And like I'll continue it for 2 weeks at least, and I think that's when it will be harder for me.
Yeah,
Will be when I get home.
definitely.
Because Danny will go to work and I'll take a day or two off of work and to get adjusted back, and I think it'll just be like, well, what do I do with my time now? Because there isn't also a lot to do. So maybe I'll read, maybe I'll color. I don't know. So it'll be interesting for me to see that, I think. But I also felt really like lost, kind of, and anxious. I think we all said that we felt kind of anxious about deleting the apps,
Yeah,
which speaks to how
that
not
is.
good for
Yeah,
us it is that we have
yeah.
them.
My whole thing was I have been talking for like weeks, literal weeks, about how I wanted to do this, and
Hmm.
the reason that I hadn't done it yet was because I felt so much anxiety to get off of social media,
Yeah.
which is messed up because it's not even real life. But like as I was saying before, it's become my way of communication with all of my people. So I think that played a big part of it in me feeling that way. But something that I've noticed too, I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier, which was whenever you mentioned absent-mindedly trying to open up Instagram while you were talking to someone. Um, Something that I've noticed that I've done, and I've heard someone else mention it. I want to say like online whenever I was maybe on YouTube or something. Um,
Hmm.
was have you noticed that for me personally, I can't sit down and like watch a show without being on my phone.
Yeah.
Like, why? I'm already watching a form of entertainment. Why do I also have to be
Yeah.
scrolling through Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever it might be? Like, when did that
It
happen?
is, yeah. And it doesn't make any sense,
No,
right?
no, it makes zero sense. Like, what's the point? I'm already
Hmm.
watching entertainment, a form of media, but yet I have to be on social media while I'm watching it. I don't know. It's like our attention spans have been like broken in half, where in order for us to focus on the real life, we have to also have our phone in our hand with our thumb scrolling. Like,
Yeah.
it's really odd. And I've also found myself like opening up. So on my phone, I have all my social media apps pretty much in the same folder. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I can't tell you how many times I've like gone to that folder, opened it, and like just looked at it, like because there's nothing there for me to click. I mean, there are things like I kept Audible, like I'm gonna keep things like that.
Yeah.
I kept YouTube,
Yeah.
um, which I maybe shouldn't take YouTube off of my phone because of the amount of time I've spent on YouTube between yesterday and today. Kind of defeats the purpose of the social media thing, but
Yeah.
um,
I feel like a lot of times YouTube though you can listen to while you're doing other
yeah.
things. At least for me. I don't know if that's the same for you.
Well, I kept it initially because I actually listen to a lot of podcasts and things on YouTube. Some of the podcasts that I listen to are only on YouTube. So, and I listen to those when I'm driving.
Yeah.
So, I kept it initially for that reason, but I've been on it a lot the last couple of days. I think trying to make up for the lack of like other outlets I have right now. So I need to at least
Yeah.
limit my time on there so I can do some stuff. But I've also been sick, so I've been resting a lot more than usual. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I've never really done a social media cleanse besides like the first time I moved to Alaska, which wasn't on purpose. It was just a nature of the beast. so
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah, I've been tempted to re-download all of my stuff. Yeah,
Really? That's interesting. How long do you think you'll do it for? Do you think you'll just stick with the week, or do you think that you will do it longer, some not? What do you think it's gonna look like for you? Yeah, after the week.
I really don't know. I think I'm kind of just playing it by ear at this point. Um, just to kind of see like what I have, not what I have time for, but like my productivity levels. I'm interested to see. Um, I'm also interested to see like if I can get past the point of um, I'm having a hard time coming up with words right now. If I can get past the point of like needing it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Um, I think I don't know. I feel like the hardest time is always that initial for anything, starting or quitting something a lot of times is that if that first like week ish, I think it depends on the person. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes for all of us because I feel like we're all very different people, personality wise.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm more of like a all or nothing person, and I've always
you're
been. I've
definitely an all
really
or
noticed
nothing
this.
person.
Yeah, like I am all in or I am out, and everyone knows, even though I haven't said anything. And so I just brought to mind so many
So many
times where I've
things.
given people a very cold shoulder. Uh,
I
but
was thinking more along the lines of like when we went vegan or like when we were lifting or like when we were doing photography. Like you're like jumping in head
yeah,
first, like body covered, immersed in water kind of
yeah,
thing, or
but
you're
that's
like,
that's
nah, I'm done.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, and that's always been how I am, and so I've really tried to work on that recently because it's really been apparent to me. But I feel like I almost don't really want to do more. When we move back into the van, I think I will do more on maybe our van life page. I need to figure out which one I have. If I do, I document it on both my page and our van life page. So I think I need to decide which one because I like sharing that. I feel like that's useful information for people. Um, but do I? Do I want to? Do I want to just maybe have like a page where I share like my photography about it or from it, like a pretty views or what? Because I feel like I want to share some things,
Yeah.
but then it's like, well, but I don't really want to have to get the app again. At least right now. That's how I feel. But
So how long do you
maybe
think?
Danny will have it.
Yeah, how long do you think that you're gonna stay off of your personals then?
I think I want to make it a rarity for me now. I don't want to say I'm not going to get on it at all. Like sometimes I go on Facebook because it's the only place my grandparents post, and I haven't this week. I probably want it all this week. Or I go on Instagram to check something out. Um, but I think I would like to stay off. I don't ever want to get back to the mentality that I had before. So I think that's what I'm trying to say is like, I don't ever want to go back to mindlessly scrolling day after day, hour after hour for nothing. Like maybe if I have like a day where I just want to, I'll re-download it and for that day I'll be on it. But I don't think I really want to get back to the mentality that I had before because it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Um, does that kind of answer your question? I feel like it doesn't. Like I went around it,
You
but
definitely
I feel like
danced around the question, but that's okay. I understand. Excuse me.
I don't.
I understand what you're
I don't think I
trying to
have
say.
an answer for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I want to stay off of it. But I don't want to say I never will do it again because I feel like that's not going to happen. That's like me saying, "Hey, I'm going to run every day this week."
Yeah. I
That's
don't
also
feel
not
like
going to
it's
happen.
realistic of you to say.
No. Yeah. But I do want to stay
Yeah.
off. I don't want to get back on. I think the days that I want to fill my time with something else, I can take a class. I'm a 5. I love learning. That's sounds like something I'm looking forward to instead of getting distracted by Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think for 2 weeks, probably until I'm home and like settled in, I will not download the apps again, and have my personal accounts on them. Um, but I think that beyond that, I don't I don't know how frequent I will be on there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think for all of us, it's just more of like gaining a healthier relationship with social media and like healthier boundaries, living more in the present.
Yeah. I've always seen like these people that set like on iPhones. I know you can do this. I don't know if you can on Samsungs. I would assume you could, where you can set boundaries. So like time limits.
Mm-hmm.
You set it yourself. You get 30 minutes on Instagram, and it's for the whole day.
Yeah.
So it cuts you off. You can't get back on there. It'll say, "Are you sure you want to do this? Your 30 minutes is up, or your 2 hours is up, or whatever." So maybe that's the route I will take.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if that's an app. One of my friends does that. She has like a screen time limit for the day, and it'll notify
yeah.
her, whenever she's getting close to it. But you can also override it. So I would definitely foresee myself being like, override.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I think that that's exactly what I would do too. So I don't know. Um, but I think it'll be interesting to see because I've done this. I did it for almost a full year in Galena once. And I would get on from my work laptop occasionally,
Mm-hmm.
like to check in on things or um, to message with my mom or whatever. But I didn't have it on my phone for a long time. And it was kind of nice, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
one thing that I'm kind of sorry, go
So
ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm definitely interested to see like at the end of the week and like beyond what our
Hmm.
mindsets like. We'll have to update you guys whether we talk about social media as a whole podcast again or not. I'm sure it's gonna be an ever uh, changing topic for us to be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is where we are now, or at least give you guys some updates.
Yeah. It'll be kind of fun to update, when we record next week or whatever, how that went or how it's still going or whatever. Um, just to see.
Yeah.
So
But I think that's gonna wrap
yeah,
up our podcast for today. Um,
I think so, dude. We're under an
I
hour.
know, wow, it's
Wow.
wild. Um,
That is something I'm not
a
familiar
little bit of
with.
a shorter one today, but we do have some interesting topics coming up in the next couple of
Mhm.
episodes for you guys. We want to do a little short teaser for potential topics. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we have some mental health topics coming up.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, that could turn into a
that
series.
turn
We'll
into a
see.
series. We have some more conspiracy episodes. You guys seem to really have enjoyed the one that we did for episode 2. So we
Hmm.
also very much enjoy researching and talking about those. So we've got some of those coming up. Um, about cloning, about MK Ultra,
Hmm.
some other stuff. So if you guys have anything that you want us to talk about, um, please let us know. You can let us know on our Twitter page. You can find us on Twitter at Panic at the Pod C number 1. So that's at the
Hmm. It
Pod
should be
C
linked in the
1.
description as
Yes.
well. So if that makes it a little easier for you.
Yeah, so go and check that out. Give us a follow. You can see,
Yeah.
when we're asking questions or whatever that may be.
Mhm.
Or on Instagram at Panic at the Podcast. That is with period between each word.
Also linked
Also
below.
linked
So
below.
and you can follow our personal pages if you want to, which we're not going to be active on.
Yeah,
So
not for a
yeah.
little while.
Well, I guess by the end, by the time this one posts, we might be active on there
We'll
again.
see.
So we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully we won't see you there.
Yeah.
Um, but we will be more active on our podcast
Yes.
stuff. So you guys can always follow us there. If you ever have any conspiracy theories that we haven't, or whatever you really want us to talk about, send us a message. The worst thing we're ever going to say is maybe later, So, but we're always looking for ideas. I'm really excited about the conspiracy theory stuff we got coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we had more. I feel like we.
We have a lot. We have a
I had a
whole
list of things I
document.
needed to
Yeah, we have a whole
Yeah.
document of ideas, but we're always looking for more topics to add to that list. So if you guys, have
Yeah.
something that you want us to talk about or something that you want us to expound on that we've already talked about, let us know. Because you guys are the ones listening. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just let us know and we'll do the research.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be good. I feel like we've kind of finally fallen into the groove with our podcast and we're not really as awkward on here and we kind of have an idea of like the direction that we do want to take. I feel like we didn't necessarily have a lot of direction in the beginning, but I feel like we've kind of found the things that we get excited to talk
Yeah,
about. So that's been really fun.
it's been exciting.
And I'm really excited to share that with all of you guys.
And
So,
thank you all for listening so
all
much.
right.
Hope
Yeah.
you continue to tune in and enjoy, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Yeah. Have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.